A new report into Crown Regional Holdings shows more than half of its $433 million loan book is now considered at risk of default. This is public money, this is our money, lent out under the Regional Infrastructure Fund and other related schemes. These projects are backed by the government, but now face serious questions about viability. Shane Jones, as Minister for Regional Development, joins us this morning. Minister, morena.
Morning.
Are we wasting taxpayer money here or what?
No, the officials have assured me that the figure is about 28 million, which is about 4, 5, 6% of the 450 odd million, which we're talking about. It's also a matter of accountancy treatment. But I think your deeper question is a fair question. Should the Crown have done this in the first place? And obviously I belong to New Zealand First, and we came in 2017 to ensure that the neglected areas of New Zealand, whether it's Minginui, the East Coast, or Portuguese, weren't left behind because Westpac can't fit them in an envelope of capital risk assessment.
You said $28 million. So just to clarify, what proportion or what percentage of that $433 million loan book is classified as at risk at present?
So in the report that you refer to, they refer to an accountancy treatment which takes a very conservative approach. I'm assured by the officials that the figure is 28 million in terms of where there's genuine imperilment. Obviously, we did have a failure recently in Rotorua where the old Soldiers Hospital, they went into receivership, and we're not the only one who put money in there, the council did as well. But the bottom line is we made...
Well, I mean, that's not a raging endorsement. If the council's willing to put money into something, the government should too. Just to clarify, so it is half. I mean, you're saying it's an accountancy treatment, but they don't just make this stuff up. It is half of that book that's classed as at risk.
No. Look, I don't want to argue about accountancy, and I'm not going to diss the report that's been written. I'm talking to you based on what the officials have said. And it's not too far different, quite frankly, than what the banks are writing off, about 10%.
But the point is, Minister, that the banks didn't put money into these projects because they didn't see them as viable. So the question is whether we should have.
But you're wrong, as is often the case when you and I talk. The BNZ wrote off a lot of money in Rotorua in respect of the project that was recently closed down. So I'm not gonna tolerate you dissing the entirety of the fund to suit.
Okay, so why do we need the fund then? If you're saying the banks, it's fine, the banks were getting involved in a lot of this stuff, then why did we need the fund in the first place? That doesn't make sense, surely.
No, it does, and also it's...
How? Why?
Project. No, it does. This particular...
Well, you're saying that the banks are willing to put money into these projects. I'm wrong, you're right, fine. Why do you need to then?
Because in certain areas, no bank's going to touch the Te Kaha.
Which is exactly the point I was making, Minister. So we can agree on that point, at least. What about the payback rate? So the 10% that has been paid back so far, do you expect that we will see more paid back than 10%? Is that a reasonable amount, or is that wrong as well?
No, I think you're making a good point, because this is the lender of last resort in those parts of New Zealand where other financial institutions just will never touch those areas, and we're never going to abandon those areas. We're here as New Zealand First, and we want the entirety of New Zealand to have an opportunity to grow. And if it means that we take part of the capital of the Crown out of a $40 billion economy from time to time to try and rejuvenate parts of New Zealand that are neglected, that's what we came into politics to do.
All right, fair enough. Hey, what about the LNG? Can I ask about the LNG situation? It seems politically, and I know you're a classic retail politician, it seems a little hard sell to say we're going to lower your power bills by putting a levy on them.
Well, look, I don't want to cut across Simon Watts. I'll have volumes of rhetoric to spread around the country in the run-up to the election, and please get me back on your program so I can spout as to how we're going to fix the electricity system led by Winston and myself.
But you are going, I mean, you're obviously on board with this as a cabinet decision, right? Is it a smart one? Or is your hand being forced? Well, I mean, is this a New Zealand First, plan?
Well, the reality, mate, is that we have diminishing stocks of gas in the country. It's been very difficult to get the big end of town, globally speaking, to come back to New Zealand. Chippy has said that he's going to cancel all gas projects. Jacinda destroyed the industry, and I'm the hapless individual that's trying to hawk it overseas to increase more capital investment in gas. So this is not so much a backstop. It's a key part of maintaining resilience and security in our industry. We're also going to use coal. We're going to turbocharge geothermal energy, and sadly, we don't have enough hydro in the country because far too many people attach a greater level of importance to strange critters that live in little creeks than they do to first world electricity resilience.
Hey, did the Kermit Irvine shakedown any more up north on Peni Henare? Did you get to the bottom of what happened there?
There's a great line in the Bible: there's a season and time for all things, and in due time it'll be revealed.
Minister, appreciate your time this morning. Shane Jones, Minister for Regional Development.